Good morning, everybody, and welcome to an episode of Coffee with Safety. Before we hop into our first episode here, I wanted to give you guys kind of a brief description of what the series is. So, Coffee with Safety, compared to the Leadership Safety Brief, it's a more casual, conversational kind of series, right? I mean, look at what I'm wearing. Leadership Safety Brief was super structured, and to be honest, it was kind of getting to me, so I wanted to keep it refreshing, bring something that's more conversational, less structured. I still have an outline, but it's just to keep me on track. It's not, I don't have every single sentence or anything outlined here. It's just, I like to yap a lot. And so the series is really just for you guys to get to know me a little bit better and vice versa, right? So, by the questions you guys ask in the comments or maybe any additions or statements you have to say about my story, I get to know you guys a little bit better while you guys get to understand me a little bit better. So in the name, Coffee with Safety, I urge you guys to go get yourself a cup of coffee. We're going to continue the topic, continue the subject until either one, we run out of coffee, or two, I finish the topic. I guess we'll go ahead and get started. The topic for today is how I got into safety. So to set the stage for you guys of how I got into safety, I was in the Marine Corps from 2016 to 2020. When I got out in 2020, I was kind of in this state of limbo, right? I was in a dark area, a dark spot in my life. One, from transitioning out of the Marine Corps, but two, about some other things that maybe we'll discuss in a different video. But I got out. I had no idea what I was going to do. I was in a dark spot. I was in this kind of state of limbo. The positive thing was that I had about 3 months of, I don't know if I should call it an emergency fund. I had 3 months of money to sustain myself. All right, so I was thinking, hey, I'll just take it easy for these 3 months. I mean, I was doing some crazy work for 4 years straight of my life. I think I'll use this time to relax, take it easy for, 3 months, and then we'll get into the job market after that. But I did move back home at this time, and my family at home, they were like, you should go ahead, you should get a job right away. You don't want to be behind the curve. And so I agree with them. I mean, my military mindset was telling me the same thing. I was like, all right, I guess we're not taking a break. I guess we're going to hop right into the workforce. And at the same time, one of my friends was working at FedEx, and, he was one of my childhood friends. He would always hang out at my house, and he was telling me, I'm working at FedEx, maybe you want to get into FedEx with me. They're hiring. Apply and I'll put in a good word for you. So I went ahead and applied, right? My friend recommended it to me. I was thinking outside of the Marine Corps transitioning, it'd be good to work somewhere where a friend is, kind of a support network there, right? To teach me how to be a civilian again. So I applied. I started work as a package handler, and let me tell you, I did not like it at all. Okay. It was back-breaking work. The Marine Corps already kind of hurt my knees and my lower back. So this just kind of added to it. My lower knees, my knees and my lower back were feeling it. I didn't like it at all. So in true military fashion, instead of, giving up and saying, what, I'm just going to be a piece of crap, I'm going to do the bare minimum, I went the other direction. I was like, I'm going to try my hardest. I'm going to work my hardest. That way I can get promoted and hopefully get out of this back-breaking work and waking up at, midnight, 2 a.m. To get to work. Okay, so I did just that, right? I put my best foot forward. I was, volunteering for any extra work, showing up early, staying after. And eventually, after I believe it was 6 months, may have been 9 months, I got promoted to operations manager, right? I applied for it and I got the position. But it was not what I expected, right? So, as you guys remember me saying earlier, I wanted to get out of the physical side of things and not wake up at 2 a.m. anymore. Well, getting into an operations manager, I still had to wake up at, the wee hours of the morning or night, midnight, 1, 2 a.m., depending on the workload. And I was still doing physical work. If the package handlers couldn't finish their work in the allotted amount of time, they would clock out and then us managers would have to deal with it. So not what I expected. So remember I told you earlier, I was in a dark place. I was like, man, I need to get out of this, man. This isn't good for my mental health, my body, my knees, lower back. It's just not doing well. Um, and the opportunity for safety specialists popped up. Now, I think this was pure luck because we already had a manager that was doing the safety role, so they could have just applied and immediately got the position. That was actually the expectation, but this manager didn't apply and take it. So I applied, I got the position, but I was finally able to move out of physical work. I got semi-normal hours. Waking up at 5:30 instead of 2 a.m. Getting to work at 6. It was a semi-office job, so I didn't have to be out on the dock doing physical work. Now, I did not get into safety for the right reasons. I mainly took this route because it guaranteed that I wouldn't have to do any more physical labor, and I didn't have to wake up at crazy hours and have a weird schedule, right? I had a semi-office job, normal hours, no physical work. So I definitely didn't get into safety for the right reasons. Working as a safety specialist, finally, I got out of that back-breaking work, now waking up at weird hours. I was kind of coasting, right? I was like, you know what, I'm going to take it easy for the first 3 months because I could finally take a deep breath. I was in the Marine Corps for 4 years, transitioned right into the workforce. I was like, finally, I have a semi-office job. I'm just going to take a breath, take it easy for a week. Well, 1 week turned into 2, 2 weeks turned into a month turned into a couple months. And then I had my first injury. Okay, not mine, an employee that got injured. And this employee, I'm not going to disrespect anyone. This is all, truth. This employee was mentally challenged, a little slow, right? So already in a vulnerable state, this employee got hit in the head by a heavy box. They came to my office, I went out to the dock. They were crying, holding their head. Brought them back to my office, went through, did my accident investigation, and I did not feel good, right? I knew at this point that it just made it real. I've been coasting. I haven't been doing what I should have been doing. Now an employee got hurt. And remember, as I said before, I was in a dark place. So this, at a time where I didn't think I could even care about myself, this made me realize that I do care. Right? I care about people. I did not like how that made me feel, seeing that employee hurt. So this is where the switch kind of flipped in my head, right? I started taking safety more seriously after this. Reaching out to my dotted line manager in district or corporate saying, hey, are there any safety opportunities to go learn more about safety? Going to safety workshops. It really instilled a sense of purpose in me that I didn't have. Okay, so just something about that injury, flipped the switch. So I really started to enjoy safety work. It gave me a sense of purpose that I absolutely lost as soon as I transitioned out of the Marine Corps. It made me feel like what I did mattered. I was keeping people safe, even our most vulnerable, right? Those ADA employees, those mentally challenged employees. And that meant a lot to me. So naturally as a Marine, I was like, you know what? I'm full sending it. I'm diving right in. So I started taking courses, started taking little certificates here and there, attending workshops for safety, and eventually I started school, all right? I used my GI Bill to get my BA in occupational safety, my Bachelor of Arts in Occupational Safety through Waldorf University. Only reason I didn't do a Bachelor's of Science was because there was a lot of math involved, and I am terrible at math, so I went the BA route. But what was cool about school is I was still working at FedEx as a safety specialist. I didn't quit. So every topic, every subject I was learning, I would just recycle it back into what I was doing. And it worked, right? I was getting results. I really enjoyed it. I couldn't believe the amount of science and the amount of work and process that goes into improving safety. It really blew my mind. Before this, my mindset was, all right, injuries are going to happen at work. That's just a part of it. Whereas after going to school, after taking safety seriously, I started to think, all right, this is crazy. I didn't know that injuries could be prevented in these kind of ways, right? Learning about lagging leading indicators, learning about proper in-depth accident investigations, risk perception, risk tolerance, all that, very interesting to me. And I was diving deep into safety at this point. So now that, my experience, my, safety conferences and activities at work and school taught me that safety is a real thing, not just, a made up position. I took this and I ran with it, right? I went full force. So as you guys know now, I'm a safety consultant. After FedEx, I went to work at a metal foundry. What happened at the metal foundry was not good. Not on my part, but on the company's part. So we'll save that for another video, because that's where I learned a hard lesson in safety. But I left, let's just say I left the metal foundry, and then I went to go be a safety consultant where I'm at now. Okay, so really all of this stemmed from FedEx, right? And some things I might have skipped on was when I was a package handler and when I was an operations manager and decided that, maybe I did want to go for this safety position, I started attending safety committees. I started asking more questions to my managers about safety. I was making it apparent that I wanted to get into safety. Okay. Maybe we'll make a video talking about, or of me giving you guys steps on how you can get into safety. But this video was more so just me wanting to tell you guys how I got into safety and more of the mental part of it that really propelled me into that. But yeah, and that's where we're at now. So this was a bit of a shorter one, but I figured that it's fitting to start off the series with how I got into safety. So I look forward to seeing you guys on the next Coffee with Safety videos. If you guys have any questions, concerns, feel free to leave a comment. If we talk about anything, my experiences or anything throughout this series, and you have more in-depth questions about the safety field, feel free to go to my website, www.atlassafetyconsultants.com, and schedule a free 30-minute coaching session, right? No hidden fees, just me giving back to the safety profession. You can fill out the contact us form there. That gets sent directly to me, and then we can go ahead and schedule that. So all about giving back to you guys. But thank you guys for joining me on today's episode, and I'll see you guys in the next Coffee with Safety.